Hi everybody, welcome to today's FindTheBestCarPrice.com video. Today we're going to take a look at the 2021/2022 version of the Ford F-150. This is the Lariat trim level. It has a base price of $45,195 before adding options. Let's get started with our tour.
Now obviously this truck looks good and strong because, well, it is. It's not just a facade. I do like the overall design changes here. Design of the headlights, got those nice large blinkers right here. Gonna have those turn signal indicators, of course, built into the side view mirrors. And just the overall design of the grille here, everything's pretty cohesive as far as there's not anything really inconsistent here. But one thing I always like to point out on these F-Series pickups when they have the feature, you've got the front camera right here and that little square that's, depending on if you're facing the front of the vehicle as I am right now, it'd be on the right-hand side. Right here, if you ever wondered what that is, I'm about to share something that some of you with your F-Series trucks may not even know you have. It's not new for 2021, it's been around for several years, but it's the front camera washer. What exactly is the front camera washer? If you bring your camera up on the infotainment screen, which by the way, you have the new optional 12-inch screen for 2021, bring that camera up and it's dirty. All you have to do is push the button on the turn signal stalk that you would use to run the windshield washer fluid for your windshield. And you're going to notice that it sprays a stream of windshield washer fluid across the camera itself, cleaning that right off. Tell me down in the comments, guys, how many of you are hearing about this for the very first time. I know a lot of people who don't know about this feature, even have some friends who live here locally in the area who sold their truck or traded it in at the dealership for a different model, and they didn't even know they had a front camera washer until it was too late because their new truck didn't have it. And out of the multiple engine options available for these F-150s in 2021, this is the 5-liter V8. And it's making a little more horsepower than it did last year. And I really mean a little, 5 more. So that means what? You're right, 400 horsepower. 410 pound-feet of torque, mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission. Of course, it has the FX4 off-road package, so that means 4-wheel drive, of course, available when you need it. Estimated gas mileage comes in at 16 miles per gallon city, 22 out on the highway, 19 combined. And obviously there are a multitude of factors that will determine what kind of mileage you ultimately get, but that's what's on the window sticker. I do like the fact that nothing new here, something very common on these F-150s, but if you open the hood, obviously it's just going to go up automatically. You don't have to hunt for that rod to hold it up because you've got the struts. One of my favorite features being a gearhead, when I open the hood, yeah, I like for that to be the case. Now I will screenshot this just so you can know that I'm not kidding about this. These 20-inch wheels are referred to as chrome-like. That's right. But they are chrome nonetheless, but that's a chrome-like wheel that you're taking a look at on the screen right now. Of course, you've got the active air vent right here with the F-150 Lariat logo right there and the chrome mirrors. Of course, these are power folding side view mirrors. They don't fold when you hit the button for the remote unless there's a setting on the infotainment screen to maybe make that happen. But you can fold them in from the button on the driver's side door there with all of the different features and functionality there for your power windows, door locks, all that good stuff. One thing I like to point out here, you've got the keypad right here that allows you to gain access to the interior. Always make sure, if you own one of these trucks or you're buying one, make sure to set that code. You can do that through the infotainment screen. It's very easy to do, no big deal. But if you ever need that, if you lost your keys, they're locked inside the vehicle, locked inside the house, and you're locked out, whatever it is, you're going to wish you had set that if you haven't already done it. Of course, with the remote on your person, you can lock or unlock the doors by simply touching that door handle. And even though these aren't power side steps, You're going to save a little money that way, having the step right there, not being that power step. But it's, even though the truck's not that high off the ground, it's nice to have that feature. Speaking of features, let's talk a little bit about safety features. I'll list a partial list of those features on the screen for you so that you know what some of the high points are. Okay guys, let's talk a little bit about towing and payload capacity, and obviously that's going to vary depending on the engine option that you have and some other features that are available on these trucks, whether you have the tow package or not, all that kind of stuff. So I'll list what is specific to this very truck on the screen for you. Like I said, I don't want to overload you with too much information, but here's one of my favorite features here. You hit the button twice on the remote, the tailgate is going to open. And the good news about that is that there's no special tricks to putting that back up. You have multiple options. You've got a button in the interior. You could use the tailgate itself, has just a little button you can push to open the tailgate, or you can use the remote. You can also hit that button twice again, and the tailgate is going to raise back up. But we're going to let that back down here in just a second here. Of course, you've got the rear view camera. You've got a light right here to help out. There's several different lights, and you can change how those zones of lights work around the vehicle. But if you're in a dark situation, maybe needing to load or unload cargo, whatever the case is, you can choose the zone lighting and where it is around the vehicle. So we'll open that one more time. You notice there's not a bed liner here, kind of a surprise, but it is what it is, just the way this truck was obviously ordered. Got box link. You're going to have multiple tie down points around each corner and 2 extra in the very front. Of course, that power sliding rear window right there. You also have the cab light to provide even more light than what you're already going to have. And for getting in and out, just in case some of you are just seeing one of these new generation F-150s for the first time, there you go. You've got the step to allow you to get in very easily. And you might say, I'm not one of those people who's mechanically inclined. I may not have an easy time putting all that back in place after I get it out. Not a big deal. Ford has numbered everything for you. So step number 1 right here, hit that 1. Put the handle down. Number 2, you're going to stow it away inside the tailgate. Now there's not a number 3, so hopefully that doesn't challenge anybody. I don't think it will, but obviously you can put the step back here. And something that Ford has done that I know we're going to start seeing on more trucks in the future, but they have the workspace tailgate right here. Everything from clamps to hold down 2x4s or whatever, you can measure right here. You've got a ruler on the back area right here, so you can measure things out for making your cuts. You also have a cup holder, and you have a space right here for, you could put multiple cell phones right here or a tablet. Very nice feature. And I think Ford believes you're going to use a lot of pencils because you've got pencil holders right here, pen or pencil holders, but you've got 4 on the left-hand side, the driver's side, and over here on the passenger side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there are 6 right there. So quite a lot of pencils available, I guess. Don't know what the thought process is behind that, but it is there. You can use it however you want. Maybe pens on one side, pencils on the other. I don't know. Whatever you want to do with that. But I like the fact that you've got a lot of space here. And obviously, as much as I talk about multitaskers here on the Vehicle Visionary YouTube channel, that is a multitasker. Now let's talk a little bit about the back seat here. Of course, you're going to have some storage underneath the seats themselves. You can gain access to tools or whatever you choose to store under there, changing the tire, all that good stuff. Of course, you're going to have the fold-down armrest and cup holder combination right there. Good, comfortable seating back here. Going to have a little bit of storage here on the top of the armrest on each side. You can put, well, whatever you want to in there, even some kind of a square bottle or something like that, because that's what it is. It's square. And I've noticed in some of my research that some of the people are saying that reviewed this truck, there's not a lot of storage space. Well, I guess that depends on what you call a lot. You've got a couple of door bins on each side here, upper and lower. Yeah, maybe there's not a ton of space there, but I think enough to definitely take care of things. Of course, map pockets on the back of the seats on the driver and passenger side. You got your dual air conditioning vents and multiple forms of connectivity here, 12 volt USB ports and a 120 volt power outlet. There's actually 3 of those throughout the truck. You've got the one here in the rear, one in the front seat, and of course, one in the bed. And let me hop up in here real quick just to give a little bit of a demonstration as to head space and all that good stuff. I'm 5'10", and I'm very comfortable. Got a lot of space here. The seat for the driver is actually pretty far back, and yet I'm very comfortable. I could actually kind of recline down just a little bit, sit down. Maybe you can call that slouching. I don't mean to look lazy, because I'm really not, but that's what you have there. Now, okay guys, here we go with the front seat. Obviously push button start for the engine, and I'm going to show you a very interesting feature that I didn't know about in these F-150s until I tried it, and you'll see what I mean in just a little while. Of course, you're going to see the typical features here on the driver's door panel right here. You got the button for folding those power mirrors in if you want to. As you can see right there, that's in the top left-hand corner right there. We control the adjustments for your power mirrors and all that good stuff. The controls for controlling the lights on the truck, you've got a power parking brake there if you want to use that, and adjustable power pedals if you wish to make changes to that. Very easy to do. Of course, a fully adjustable steering wheel, tilt and telescopic, all that good stuff. And as you can see, of course, the changes for the dashboard, steering wheel mounted controls, a very well laid out cabin here for the F-150. You've got your controls for four-wheel drive, your controls for the trailer, brakes, and all that good stuff. A lot of great features here, and multiple driving modes underneath that, where you can select your driving modes depending on what your situation is. And of course, across above the infotainment screen, one of my favorite features to turn off right there, because I don't want to wear the starter out of my vehicle unnecessarily, the auto stop start feature. You can turn that off here. And other features, of course, there as well. As you can see, you can turn some of the safety features off or back on, depending on what you want to do. Also, the button for your hazard lights there. The infotainment screen, I really like what we have here. And one thing that I really like is the owner's manual. And if there's something that you want to know about, there's a lot to learn in these trucks these days. So sometimes you might need to research a little bit more. Maybe you forgot how to do something. You're wondering, what about this feature or that feature, whatever it is. You've got video tutorials here built into the owner's manual, and I'll show you a quick clip of one of those just so you can kind of see. You get animated tutorials. Also, you got that voiceover kind of explaining what's going on. A lot of great features and functionality here. You can go in and turn the safety features, the driving aids, off if you want to. You can change how aggressive they are. You can leave them set at normal. You know, what is it you want to do? You can do it there. All kinds of great features. You can even go in and learn more about the towing capabilities of your specific 2021 F-150, depending on what your trailering package is, depending on what engine's under the hood, all that good stuff. It's all there. Of course, the controls for the radio, your dual zone climate control here as well. And like I said, more connectivity right there. You've got the 12 volt and another 120 volt outlet right here. Very nice to have that feature. It's just really neat to see the multitasking that you can literally do with these trucks. A couple more USB ports there. Now, wireless charging not here, but if it were, it would be down in this area right here. Got your cup holders. Now, on this particular truck, you do have the shifter that does fold down, although you don't have the workspace right here where you can fold the console lid over and basically use that as, again, another one of those multitaskers. Just is what it is. But you do have the nice large console, the console lid that doubles as an armrest, and a lot of space down in there. Here's something very interesting that you may have never thought about in an F-150. If you were to hop out without putting the truck back into park, the transmission back into park, what would happen? Let me show you. Okay guys, let's just cover something here that I think is really cool. Nothing new, nothing I haven't seen before, and a lot of you haven't either, but it's pretty cool to see it in this F-150. Let's say, for whatever reason, there could be a multitude of reasons, you hop out of your truck, your F-150, without putting the transmission back into park, and all you do is just hit the button right here to shut the ignition off. Watch what happens. It's going to automatically go into park, and it went all the way from drive to park, and it's not going to matter where you are. It will go from park, neutral, reverse, or even manual mode right there into park no matter what you do. So a pretty nice little feature there. Okay guys, let's hop out on the road for a quick test drive here, see what we can find out about the F-150. I've got the pedal down a little bit here, let you hear what the engine sounds like. I don't know how well you can hear that, but that 5-liter V8 definitely has a nice exhaust note to it. Don't want to get into it too terribly much since it's a brand new vehicle, but definitely have to say I'm really impressed with that, and the acceleration is solid. Obviously, about 400 horsepower for a truck is not bad, and the ride quality is the first thing I noticed here. You know, I remember many years ago, it has been many years ago, Ford had some trucks that didn't ride that great. They have been great selling trucks for a long time, as I mentioned early in the video. But I'll tell you what, that was one thing I didn't like about Fords back many decades ago, we'll say. It's been a while, but they definitely ride a lot better now. This F-150 is no exception. And obviously, if you added a heavy payload, you're pulling a trailer down the road, you know, that's probably going to smooth out a little bit more, depending on how much load you have in that bed in the back. Obviously, that makes a difference. But I like how stable this truck feels on the road. The steering is nice and responsive. You don't have a lot of play in the steering wheel. You know, I've driven other vehicles, even brand new vehicles, that did have a lot of play in the steering wheel for being a brand new vehicle. This one, not a problem. And obviously, the interior itself, just the materials that you'll find here, everything, the seats are nice and comfortable. Got this leather wrapped steering wheel that itself is nice and comfortable. And with all the driving aids, even aside from that, you still have good visibility all the way around. And obviously, typically you're going to have the worst blind spot over your right shoulder, and even that here is not too terribly bad. So I must say, I'm pretty impressed here. It would be fun to have the opportunity to get one of these trucks out and do some off-roading with it, see how it does, how it tows, how it handles a heavy payload. Sometimes that's just a little bit harder to do, just depending on what's available, and of course it depends on what the dealership's going to allow me to do. But overall, definitely high marks here with this 21 F-150 Lariat.
To learn more about the model in today's video, visit the link in the description for a detailed comparison between trims and pricing for the vehicle we featured, or any vehicle you may be interested in. These pages feature information such as our recommended trim level based on price, value, and features. Thank you for taking the time to watch today's video. We look forward to seeing you next time.